Hi everyone, welcome back to SlipTwpKnit. My name is Shelby and I come to you from Shelby Township, Michigan, which is where I do my knitting. If you're new here, welcome, and if you are a returning viewer, thanks for coming back. It's really appreciated. I know that it's been a couple of weeks since the last you saw me. For those of you who are new, I do this every episode, but just a little intro. Like I said, my name is Shelby. Like I also said, I'm from Shelby Township, Michigan. I go by Shelby from the Twipp on a lot of my social media, so I decided to incorporate that into the name of my knitting podcast, which is a mashup of the Decrease Stitch, Slip Knit, and my hometown, which is called Shelby Twp or the Twipp. That's what the locals call it. So that's how I got SlipTwpKnit. As I said, it's been roughly 3 weeks since the last you saw of me, which is better than 6 weeks. So I'm gonna count that as a small victory on my part. Just a small one though. Oh, I have tea in the corner. 1 second. I made some tea because I was working. I'm actually filming this on my lunch break because, like many people, I am working from home during the COVID-19 pandemic, and it's literally an open debate I have this debate every day with some people about when we're going back to the office. I don't like working from home, so I'm here, and this is kind of, I've gotten used to it now. This is Monday. This is Monday, the 18th of May. So this is actually week 10 of me working from home. So I'm used to it by now. Like, there's no escaping the fact that I have to be used to it by now. It's week 10. So I am used to it. I've adjusted. I hope I remember how to get to work when we're allowed back in the office. They did send out a survey at work though, talking about like when we're returning, just to kind of gauge people's responses. I know that a lot of people are probably loving working from home. I'm just not one of them. I did say in my response that I would like to return to the office as soon as possible. But I don't know. I'm in Michigan. And if you follow the news, of all of the 50 states, Michigan is probably the one that has lost its mind before any others. I know that the crisis has been tough in other places. I'm not denying that. I know that, confirmed cases and things like that are worse in other states. I know that the death rate is higher in other places too, but for some reason Michigan is not. Well, no, that's not it. Michigan is Michigan. Michigan's lost its mind. Everybody in the state, our governor is doing things. We got protesters doing things, and I'm not taking a side because I understand both. I understand both sides. I'm not taking a side here, but I'm tired of Michigan being in the news. I'm very tired of Michigan being in the news. Otherwise, well, I'm tired of Michigan being in the news for this, I guess. It would be really great if something good happened and Michigan was in the news for it, but no. So anyway, I'll get to talking about knitting in just a moment. Just a brief update on the weather. I am in my space again that you saw last time. This is my actual bedroom. The room I film in is our guest room, aka my sister's room, because she doesn't live here anymore, but that's my workspace, and I'm not going to be filming in my workspace because I'm not going to spend any time in my workspace if I'm not working. That's what I've decided. So yeah, it's raining. The lighting in here is a combination of artificial and natural light because it is the gloomiest crappiest day outside. I'm not gonna lie. I like rainy days and rain is good. But my house is as dark as a bat cave when it's sunny outside. So it's even worse today. So just so you know, that explains why the lighting is kind of weird. Normally I'm filming at night because I don't want to wake people up. And I don't want people to be questioning why I'm talking about knitting on a camera. So I do it at night, which is why the lighting normally is a lot more yellow, because I have the lights on. So anyway, I have this tea in my hand and I'm not drinking it. So anyway, I have show notes and I have no finished objects. Not that surprising. It is me. And then I have 3 whips. So I'll start with, I have them written down here. I'll start with the one that's actually almost done, which is my Joe's Perfect Slipper Sock. As you can, this was a hoe. I guess it was a hoe last time. Maybe, not quite. It might have been. I was probably, Anyway, this is the finished first one I did. So, not a finished object, but this was what I had completed last time, and it is still completed now, as you can see. And then last time, the second one, and I'm all tangled up here, because that's how you do. Last time I was probably right around here. I have since finished the foot and I turned the heel. And what I'm doing with this, the pattern is by Cozy Up Knits. This is one of their, I would say this is one they like a lot themselves that they knit. It's also just a good one for stash busting, and that's kind of what I was doing with this. The yarn I'm doing is, I'm holding double. The gray is Dove Heather in Knit Picks Stroll, and then the purple is Mint Rain Tough Sock in the color Blackhearted. I had previously made my Whisper in the Wind socks with this color, and I still had quite a lot left over, so I thought I'm gonna stash bust and use this to make my mom some slipper socks. I didn't get them done in time for Mother's Day. No big deal though, no big deal. And then she's tried this one on and it fit her really well, so this one should be good too. What I have to do next is pick up the stitches between the heel and the rest of the foot, and then just keep knitting. And then what I do with the gray, when I'm doing just gray, I hold the gray double from both ends, and then so I'm still gonna have quite a bit of this left, so I'm gonna either hold on to it for a swap or put it in a scrappy project, in another scrappy project. So we'll see what I can do with these. I'm hoping this will be done next time. I don't see any reason why they won't be done next time. So that's what I'm hoping to do. I'm happy that I got past the heel though. Oh, one last thing about the heel. I do the Fish Lips Kiss. That's what the pattern calls for. They actually have the Fish Lips Kiss heel written into the pattern. But even so, that's a new heel I've started doing recently, and I really like it in the way it fits. So that's the Cozy Up Knits pattern, but the pattern is called the Joe's Perfect Slipper Sock. Lukewarm. Second hoe. Yeah, my second, this is another half finished object. I'm not as far along on this one as I am on the other one. This one is living in my Christmas project bag. I put anything that is going to be any Christmas related projects, whether they be if it's going to be a Christmas present, or if it's going to be just something for me to wear at the Christmas time, or if it's going to be if anything remotely Christmassy lives in this bag. So what I'm working on are my vintage fairy lights, and this is, like I said, it's a hoe, so I have finished the first sock. The pattern here is by Curious Handmade, also known as Helen Stewart, and the yarn I'm doing is Cornbread and Honey in the color Gingerbread House, and I'll show it up close. This is what the color looks like. I don't know if you can actually see the fairy lights. Like, there's a texture. It's super cute. I'll link it in the description box down below, because the pictures on Ravelry are super cute, and I can see the pattern when I'm holding it in my hand and looking at it, but I don't know if it's just not showing up really well on the camera. But they're super cute, and I'm really happy. The cuff, I did 20 rounds. I think the pattern has you do fewer than that, but for some reason I had got it in my head to do 20 rounds, so I did. And then the part where you're doing the fairy lights, that section is really fun to do. So that's kind of what was motivating me to get through 20 rounds of ribbing. And then it's just ribbing like until like through the rest of the foot. On this sock, I'm doing a Fish Lips Kiss heel as well, and I think last time I had shared that I had frogged this sock twice already. Third time was the charm, and I have not. The sock is done. I'm not frogging it. I'm not doing nothing to it. So that's good. I am now on sock number 2, and I keep kicking my tripod. Whoops. So this is where I'm at with sock number 2. This is where I'm at. Again, you can't really see the lights pattern. I can see it really well in my hand. It's super cute. But I'm through the ribbing. I'm through the fairy lights section. So now what I'm going to be doing is ribbing. I'm going to be doing ribbing. That's all I'm going to be doing. But you know what? I'm just going to have to slow down. I'm going to have to do a few rounds of ribbing every day, and then I'll have a finished object before I know it. So that's kind of what I'm telling myself. One thing about this that is challenging, the needle I'm using is these are my ChiaoGoo US zeros. I've said this before, but if you're new, you might not know. My gauge is loose. So if I'm knitting socks, I have to use a size 0, and sometimes I think I should probably use a size 00, which is not. The thought of using a 00 actually just fills me with dread. So I haven't made the move to 00s yet, but I'm on zeros, and they help. I usually end up having to, on size 0s, depending on the yarn, depending on the pattern, my magic number is also, I'll start at 64 stitches and then decrease down to 56. Yeah, 64 to 56. That's what I go down to. So that helps with my socks fitting better. And then, yeah, but so that's what I'm going to be working on, just doing some. But anyway, 00s. There's something about my new workspace, and I don't know if it's just my workspace isn't set up like my desk. But for some reason, knitting on these needles specifically, my zeros, my ChiaoGoo's Red Lace, my hands hurt after a while. And it's just these. So I'm gonna have to just do like 5 to 10 rounds here or there, and then just like call it a day on these and then just start over again, like just keep working on it each day, because for some reason it's hurting my hands, and I think it's tied to my workspace and like maybe how I'm holding my hands when I'm working, or there's some reason, and I don't know 100% what it is, but my hands hurt when I'm knitting on these. So I actually, they're, one, just a ton of ribbing, two, my hands hurt. I'm not enjoying this knit as much as I could be, is kind of the point. But if I get them finished, I can enjoy a pair of socks. So that's what I'm gonna have to do. I'm just gonna have to slow down, do a little every day, and get over it. So I'm working on another pair of socks, and these are intended to be a birthday present for my friend Tony. She has another thing she wants for her birthday, so she's not just getting socks. I'm not that kind of friend who just forces people to accept gifts of socks. So this is what I'm working on. Here's a close-up of it. You may have seen these before. These are the Thornfield socks. If you're a returning viewer, you may have seen them before. I knit a pair of these for my mom for Christmas last year, and the pattern is by Rachel Coopey. They're really nice, and I believe I said when I did my last pair, I didn't enjoy them because they're cable, and I mean, cables are fine, but they're not my favorite. I much prefer lace. That being said, for some reason, I decided I miss cables, and I wanted to knit Tony a pair of socks for her birthday. I had this yarn in my stash, and so I decided to cast these on. This is the Barocco Ultra Wool Fine in the color Rosemary, and I had originally bought it. I went to a new yarn store that I had never known of that was close to my work called Have You Any Wool? It's in Berkeley, Michigan. So we have one of those, not to be confused with the one in California or the one in any other state. So I bought this at Have You Any Wool, and I had intended to do another pair of socks with it for myself, but I cast those on a while back and I wasn't enjoying them. So I said, no, I'm gonna make Tony a pair. If you don't know, which you probably don't, I talk about Tony every now and again. Tony's favorite color is green, and I made her a pair of green socks for her birthday last year. I believe I showed those in the last episode because I was weaving in an end that I had forgotten to weave in. So anyway, Thornfield socks by Rachel Coopey, Barocco Ultra Wool Fine in the color Rosemary, cables such as this, and then the needles I'm using are new. Come on, camera. Okay, the needles are new. I bought these online. These are Addy Rocket Square. These are the square Addies. I've never used them before. I had to buy them online because I don't think any of my local yarn stores carry them. So I bought these a while back, and they took a little while to get to me, but I'm enjoying them. I know the Grocery Girls had spoken about them previously in another episode, and they were talking about how it's good for people with like joint pain or arthritis. So I kind of thought about it because I was having the issues I was having with my ChiaoGoos. So I haven't had that problem with these yet. Knock on wood, or knock on, there's nothing within range for me to knock on really. So anyway, what I ended up doing, fun fact, so I was talking to my friend Kelly from Miss Kel's Crafty podcast, So she and I were talking, and I was talking to her, telling her about these socks that I'm knitting, and she goes, I thought you would knit those before and you decided you didn't like cables. Which is true. I had decided I was over cables after I did these socks for my mom, but I think I need to do cables every now and again so I can stay on top and keep and maintain whatever knowledge I have. So that's kind of what I'm doing here. I think they're going to turn out well though. And I still haven't given up my plans of making a pair of these for myself at some point. But maybe in like 10 years. So that's the Thornfield socks. And my last whip. I actually really do I like these socks. I don't know. Another thing about these socks, because I'm not done. I'm actually not done. I had to rip these out twice before I got it right. There was some reason I was just messing up left and I just kept messing up. It was so bad. So I ended up frogging these twice. And then I said, you need to slow down. You need to stop powering through. I know you don't like cables, but you need to just do a few rounds a day and you'll be fine. And then, you know, hopefully you can get them done around Tony's birthday and you can drop them off at her house and she'll have a new pair of socks and her old pair of socks. So yes, that is the Thornfield socks. And I'm just trying to think, like, do you guys want to talk to me a little more? I don't know. I'm feeling chatty, and I think it's just because I'm stuck in the house all the time. So I'm feeling chatty. If you don't want to stick around, you can leave. That's fine. I'm okay. And then I'll just keep talking because I'm lonely. And I'm gonna drink more lukewarm tea because it's lukewarm. I don't like my tea very hot, but lukewarm tea, is not my jam either. So anyway, I'm going to talk about my show. I have it in my show notes. I wrote in my show notes that I'm feeling chatty. So I guess, also, if you're new, you may start realizing, I think people who aren't new know. I repeat myself a lot. That's just what I do. I'm sorry. I notice it as well. And I'm trying to not do as much of it, but that clearly is not working. So, things that I'm feeling chatty about. I wanted to, okay. Good thing I wrote that down. I would have forgotten. I've decided that I'm going to make my own advent this year. And the reason I say that is because a lot of dyers that I like are starting to talk about their advents. And starting to post advents for pre-order and things along those lines. But I'm weird. I think I'm kind of weird because I think it's not necessarily I'm weird. I just know myself, and I like mini skeins, but I also don't like mini skeins. I'm not a fan of... Mini skeins would be probably good for like heels, toes, and cuffs on socks, but that's about it. And then they're not my favorite. So I can tell I just know I can't justify to myself getting an advent calendar. And I just can't justify getting an advent calendar of mini skeins that'll probably take me like 2 years to use. So what I'm actually going to be doing is, I know there are some dyers who offer this option. I don't know many who do. But I do know that it's out there. Woolberry is one. Woolberry will do a Sunday advent. So she'll do 4 skeins that you open up each Sunday leading up to Christmas. And so I've decided to kind of do that myself, and I'll talk a little bit more why. Part of it is this is gonna sound so crazy. This is just not gonna sound right. But the way it is just knowing myself. Like I said, I'm not the biggest fan of minis, and I know that there's a 4 skein Sunday option out there for some dyers. I just don't know enough of them that do. And part of the thing for me is if I was doing an advent for myself, it's not that I don't know what I'm getting, but it is partly I don't know what I'm getting. Like, I like speckles. I love speckled yarn, don't get me wrong, but I like semi-solids and tonals just as much, and I would want an option of having tonals and speckles in my advent. So kind of what I've decided to do is just do my own advent. I'm gonna order the yarn now, and I've talked to Tony about this already. I'm gonna order the yarn now, and what I'm gonna do is give it to her with some wrapping paper. She's gonna wrap it up and basically give it to me, and I'm gonna forget about it until the last Sunday of November when I can start opening it. That's kind of my plan, because the way it's going is, like I said, I know myself. I know what I like, and with advent calendar, with an advent calendar, I can't guarantee what I'm going to get. I can't guarantee that I'm going to get a mix of semi-solids and speckles, or I can't guarantee I'm not going to get, I can't guarantee I'm going to get, I could get only semi-solids, or I could get only speckles. So it's just kind of me knowing myself well enough to just, I'm just gonna take, I can't control what other people do, so this is kind of like me taking control a little bit and controlling what I get with my advent. But I'm crossing my fingers that in the back of my head I'll like forget what I ordered and what I had, because I'm just gonna give it to Tony. Tony's gonna wrap it up. Tony's gonna put dates on it, and I'm not gonna deal with it until November when it's time for me to open it. Like, hopefully at some point there will be something that happens that I forget. There'll be something that happens that I forget about my advent and what colors I'm getting. So that's what I'm doing this year. I'm just kind of trying to, what I'm gonna do is, I'm debating, do I go with all one dyer, or do I do 4 skeins from 4 different dyers? I feel like it's so dumb. I'm not an all or nothing person, really, in anything. I'm really just not I'm not an all or nothing person. There's probably 5 things in the entire world I would say all or nothing. And for some reason, my advent calendar is going to be one of those all or nothing things. I either have to do all different, or I have to do all the same dyer. Like, I can't do 2 and 2. I can't do 3 and 1. I can't do, no, it has to be all 4 either have to be the same dyer, or they all have to be different dyers. So that's something I'm wrestling with right now too. And if you were not aware previously that I am crazy, now would be a good time for you to realize that. What else am I talking about? Oh, so other things. Something else that I'm looking forward to, in addition to making my own advent, is Lolo Did It is gonna be, she's starting up a new club that's Downton Abbey themed. And if you're an old viewer, I know I've expressed how much I love Downton in previous episodes, but I freaking love Downton Abbey. It's something I just throw it on because I know it's something maybe it's a good word, like maybe it's good for me to describe it as like a comfort watch, because I'll just put it on when I'm knitting or whatever, because I've seen it so many times. I know what's going to happen. And it's a classic. I just finished watching it again for the I just finished watching it again for probably the 60th time. And this time it was special because my mom has never really watched it before, and she watched it with me. So that was kind of fun. We didn't straight out binge, but we were doing like 2-3 episodes a day. More if it was a weekend. So that was kind of fun. And I'm looking forward. I have characters that I'm definitely looking forward to getting, but I'm also that person who loves the show so much. I could have a character, like I could have a skein of yarn for any character off of that show, even the ones that nobody likes. Like that scheming bitch Edna. I'll take a skein of Edna yarn. I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. Larry Gray, that little... There's a word for it, but I don't want to say it. Actually, no, I'll say it. Larry Gray's a dickhole. But I'll still take a skein of yarn named for him. So, I'm really excited. I'm really excited about this yarn club. And it's going to be exciting because I could probably... Like Tony loves Downton. She watches Downton with me. I can knit Tony a pair of Downton socks. I can there's like, it's gonna be the gift that keeps on giving. So something else I'm really enjoying is so I was talking about Downton. Now I'm going to talk about, I wanted to talk about podcasts that I'm enjoying, because I've kind of been watching, I've been watching a lot of those, which I watch on a lot on a normal basis. That's nothing new. It really is nothing new. But things I wanted to talk about, holy shit, I don't even remember where my notes are. I'm sorry for my crass language. Oh, so something exciting has happened for 2 podcasts that I watch and enjoy. Both the Crazy Sock Lady podcast and Grocery Girls recently hit episode 100, so yay for them. I can't even imagine getting to episode 25. So, like, that's insane in a really good way. Not bad insane. It's good insane. And that's crazy. I can't, like I said, I can't even imagine getting to episode 25 of my own podcast, but here they are at episode 100 and going on episodes 101. So that's exciting. Cozy Up Knits has been doing a couple of, they haven't been doing like full episodes. I know that they did some Zoom stuff and then some things happened. So they weren't always filming, they weren't filming all 4 sisters. So Jamie and Sarah were doing, they were kind of calling their segment Early Spring Break. I was enjoying that. That was fun. And I was enjoying that. They did just put up a new episode that did have all 4 sisters. And that made me very happy because I love Jamie and Sarah, but I love Katie and Chrissy too. So I just enjoy seeing all 4 of them. It makes me wish my sister was into knitting, because she's not. She will take hand knit gifts though, so that's good. I have something planned for her once I finish some of this other stuff. And then a new one to me that is also new from this new, like as of this year, is Needles at the Ready. That one's been I've really enjoyed watching that one. Kevin and Ray, they post a new episode like every 2 weeks, and I've really enjoyed watching them. They're really fun together, and if you love Harry Potter, they love Harry Potter, which is why the name of their podcast is Needles at the Ready, because it's a play on Wands at the Ready. And I don't know, it's kind of fun. I think they bring something different to, I don't want to say they bring something different to the table, but they bring something different to the table. And it's exciting to watch, and I'm enjoying watching it, and like I said, they're a lot of fun. I think I don't really have any other words other than I really love watching them for some reason. They're a lot of fun to watch. I enjoy commenting on their videos, and I don't know. I just like them, and also I think it helps that they like things that I like. Kevin, I think Kevin and I have a lot of interest in common, and I think that might be why I like watching them so much. Kevin is like me, a Gemini. I also feel like it's not a right, it's just not an episode, like no episode is complete from them without Kevin's giant Gemini cup, which I don't think he actually had in the most recent episode. And they enjoy doing yarn clubs, and they talk about their yarn clubs, and I think a lot of the colors they like are similar to colors I like. So I don't know what it is. I like them. They're a lot of, I'll say it for the 15th time, they're a lot of fun. Like I said, I repeat myself a lot. I should probably do a counter every single time I say something more than once. How many times did I say they're a lot of fun? We'll see. So that's what I'm talking about with podcasts I like. And then for my, the last thing I wanted to talk about, which has nothing to do with knitting whatsoever, is I am garden planning, which is really exciting. Here in Michigan, it's been cold. It's been a cold spring. We had snow in May. We had snow in April and May, so it's been kind of a cold, we've had a cold snap, not recently, but last weekend it was to the point where my mom and I and my dad, we had to actually take sheets and blankets outside and put them on top of my mom's hostas because it started snowing. So anyway, I am in the process of garden planning. What the heck is going on with my hair? And so I'm garden planning. My garden is going to be a vegetable garden, and I actually am, it's planted at it's going to be at my grandma's house because she has a little patch where she grows stuff. So I just went over there and I dug up more earth, and I turned the soil and things like that. So we turned the soil twice. We're going to be rototilling at some point this week, and then we're going to be planting probably this weekend, which is going to be exciting. I'm going to be growing, Grandma's going to be doing tomatoes and peppers, which is good because every garden needs tomatoes in it, and I like peppers. My parents don't, but Grandma and I like peppers, so that might be something that we both will benefit from. And then in my giant section of the garden, because Grandma was only going to do the two, I'm doing green beans, snap peas, potatoes, squash, and then later in the summer I'm going to be planting carrots, and I also have celery root to be planting as well, which celery root takes a few days to mature, so it'll be good in time for fall probably. So that's what I'm doing in my garden, which is exciting. I'm really looking forward to it. I had a little teeny tiny garden when we first moved into this house like 20 years ago, and I grew cucumbers and green beans, and then that was it, because I was probably 6 years old. So it's been more than 20 years since we've been in this house in the scheme of things. I was probably 6 when we had that garden though. So 6 or 7 years old, and that was the last time. And for some reason I've decided to go a little crazy and go a little ham and grow things at my grandma's house, but it's gonna be good. And it's also nice because my grandma's gonna be, actually as of today, my grandma's birthday is today. So she's 80 years old. This is my mom's mom, and so this is going to be helpful. I love my grandmother. I spend a lot of time at her house anyway, but you know, people are getting older, and it's going to give her and I some time together for me to go over there and take care of my stuff stuff and help her with her stuff, and it's just going to give us some more time together that, you know, at some, you know, when the inevitable happens, I can be good with it, you know. Well, you know, not good with it, but when the inevitable happens, I can at least be okay and feel like I spent enough time with her and not have any regrets and think that I never spent enough time with her. So that's kind of what's going on. I am actually, speaking of Grandma and her birthday, we're having her over for dinner today. And we're gonna have dinner. So I'm actually gonna be cooking that. We're gonna do shrimp and pasta. So not a whole lot else going on. I wanted to, I know I talked last time about like the things you're looking forward to when the quarantine is over and the things that you're looking forward to doing. And that, you know, I enjoyed sharing that about myself. I don't think anybody commented, so I don't actually know what you guys are going to be doing when this is over. But tell me some things that you're doing to that are keeping you happy right now. Like right now, one thing I'm really enjoying, and it's going to sound so crazy, as everything I say and do sounds crazy, but one thing I'm doing that I really enjoy is in terms of music. I've been listening to Fiddler on the Roof a lot, and for some reason, I know it's not necessarily a happy musical. There's some sad stuff that happens, but there's something about the music and the songs, and I love Fiddler on the Roof, so I've been listening to it a lot, which is crazy, probably. I've been listening to a lot of Fiddler on the Roof. I've been listening to a lot of ABBA, because that music is just feel-good music. And then, yeah, just adding stuff to my list of things I'm gonna do when this is over. I thought of one thing the other day, and I don't remember what it was now. I actually thought of something yesterday too. Oh, I want to play cards with my family. That's what I wrote down that I want to do. I want to play cards with my family and have people over to play cards, because that's something my mom's side did a lot. And my mom's uncle passed away recently. I don't know if had that happened last episode? I don't know. I don't think so. Maybe I was going to be talking about Uncle Brother. Uncle Brother was my grandfather's brother, and he passed away. He passed away in the last couple of weeks. Not of COVID, but he passed away peacefully. He passed away quickly, so that's a blessing. But he was, like I said, we called him Uncle Brother, because that's what he and my grandfather called each other brother. And we had him over. We used to have him over a lot to play cards. So I don't know. I wanna play cards as a family and things along those lines. I'm also craving a Subway sandwich, so I'm gonna be adding that to my list too. Getting a sandwich from Subway. I haven't had a Subway sandwich in years, and I used to eat a lot of Subway when I was living in my apartment, and my job wasn't paying, my full-time job wasn't paying me enough. I was actually tutoring, and I was tutoring 2 days a week, and on my way to my tutoring gig, which was on the opposite side of town from my job, and I wouldn't always have enough time to like go home and eat between, I'd stop at Subway because it was on the way. And I have a lot of fond memories of Subway. They actually closed the Subway location that I used to stop at though, so I'm gonna have to find another one. But the good news is the food's all the same no matter which one you go to. So yeah, tell me about the things that you're looking forward to, or the things that are helping keep you sane and are making you happy right now. You know, as much as I talk about how crappy the weather is here, I know that it's good for my garden, and every time it rains, I'm crazy happy because we're at where I live. Just, if you didn't need to know this, but I'm going to share anyway. Our soil is really sandy in this area, so the soil dries out really fast. So this is doing some good for the garden, and that's what I'm telling myself. So I'm gonna let you go. Thanks for tuning in. I'm sorry I didn't talk a whole lot about knitting, but I'm gonna just keep trucking with what I've got on the needles right now, and I might be casting on whatever I want right now because that's what I do. I have another project planned actually, but I'm gonna try and knock one of these out first. I have at least one more planned project. I need to finish my love note. But anyway, regardless, anyway, I haven't talked much about knitting. I'm going to talk about that hopefully next time. And you will see me again in the next episode, which will hopefully be in 2 to 3 weeks. And I'll let you go. Thanks again for tuning in and have a great day. I'll talk to you later. Bye.